Hi everyone, my name is Madeline Brooke and I'm here to reiterate how English classrooms can be inclusive when we use multiliteracies. Multiliteracies in English education identify the expansive resources available to students in order to help them comprehend different interpretations or meanings behind things like text, image, audio, and sociological contexts, fitting quite nicely with Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. The use of these resources can give students the information they need to decode social and cultural contexts, or even identify features of their own. In English education, multiliteracies are an important source of information and can provide students with an alternate mode of learning. However, as I have learned, providing students with an alternate information resource only scratches the surface. Studies showing that teachers can adapt this into their classrooms as a way to open up individual learning to a range of modes, providing accessible learning options through use of ebooks, audiobooks, audiovisual resources, and the work. While students may be expected to convey their understanding of literature, multiliteracies can provide a less restrictive and more inclusive modality. Bruner suggests in his 1961 paper that students learn through discovery. By giving students access to the relevant resources they need to learn, you are creating an inclusive environment that allows for students to continually progress through their discovery. However, what is surprising for me is a prevalent thought that multiliteracies are creating further differentiation for students who have difficulties when they are allowed to access things like extra resources that other students might not. This brings about the idea of equity versus equality. Some students might be able to receive more assistance and access more platforms than other students so that they can progress equally in relation to their peers. However, students who are all given the same resource are able to access the information as they need, equitably. The Melbourne Declaration of Education Goals for Young Australians in 2008 suggests that students should be treated equitably through individual learning structures. Now, that doesn't mean that one student's diversity will differentiate them. Students will be able to access the same resources but use them for different purposes. But the main point here is to provide students who have difficulties, or even those who are high achieving, access to multiliteracies for the purpose of their own development. So here are some questions that I have pondered during this research because they seem quite context dependent. How do we predict when a student might need access to different modalities? How do we refrain from creating this environment that restricts students through their freedom? Do we solely rely on organizational framework within multiliteracies, ensuring that we are providing students with augmented text embedded with URLs and only pick topics with adequate resources? Do we use interpretive frameworks full of images, meta-language, and grammar and allow students to build their knowledge through the author or illustrator's perceptions of a society or culture? Do we provide students with a pedagogical framework that allows them to research and develop understanding of how a piece of literature is created? Fleming and Baume in 2006 use a questionnaire based on a student's visual, oral, reading, writing, and kinesthetics to try and predict an appropriate learning style. They suggest that using systems like this, students can identify more than one learning trait, and upon the creation of a suitable environment, student learning needs are facilitated. I believe that a predictor may be unnecessary in this context. However, I'm excited to see how this could contribute to my own understanding of my class's diversity.